My name is Shane Doyle. I'm the sheriff of Edmonson County. A lot of people may know that area as the Brownsville area or the Mammoth Cave area. All of that is within my county. We have got about 12,000 people in our county residents, and we have about a little over 300 square miles that we have to cover. Our biggest problem is that with those people and with that amount of square miles to cover, we've only got about I have 5 full-time deputies. And when you think of 5 people plus myself trying to cover all of the problems that happen when you have that volume of people and that much area to cover, manpower is our biggest issue, and funding and resources has always been a big problem in Edmonson County. It's something that we've just had to work through and that we're trying to continue to do better with. So what we tried to figure out is how are we going to, with the limited resources and limited funding that we have, how are we going to add more people? And the answer there is volunteer deputies, or special deputies is what they're called under Kentucky state law. But the law was kind of handcuffing us as far as how many we could have. It's based on population of your county, and because of the population range that we fell in, we were only able to have 4. So what I did was I got together with my state representative and my state senator, and we were able to get a bill passed, signed by the governor, and it went into effect in July, that more than doubled our ability to swear in volunteer deputies. Now, you may wonder what kind of jurisdiction and power that those volunteer deputies have. Well, they actually have the same jurisdiction and power that I have. They have the ability to arrest, they can patrol. There's a couple of things that they're really not supposed to get involved in, but they're they're very small in comparison to what the amount of power that they have. They're not allowed to be paid. They have to be volunteer. And so what I have to do is I have to decide in what capacity do I use those people. And so they're not there to work investigations. They're not there to necessarily patrol the roads on a regular basis. But they're there to fill in those areas that the certified full-time people may be better utilized in other areas, such as funeral details, working ball game security, helping out with road safety on an accident scene, and those kind of things that would tie up a certified deputy from being able to work the investigations and answer the calls. And because we're so small, when you look at an area the size of like Bowling Green, they have a detectives division and they have major crimes and things that people that can work specialized areas, and we don't have that. Everybody has to be good at everything. We have to be able to put an accident scene back together and then leave that, go work a domestic, and then leave that, and then deal with digital evidence, and then leave that, and get a cat out of a tree for some elderly lady. So we wear a lot of hats, and we have to wear them well. So with the additional help that our volunteers were able to bring us, it is in the process of freeing up our full-time people. We don't have them all in place yet. And another area that we're really going to be able to utilize those guys are in our schools, because we don't have the funding for a full-time school resource officer in every school. What I'm doing is I'm taking some of those guys and placing them in our schools to be extra security, and that's a heck of a deterrent when you think about a uniformed, armed, fully sworn law enforcement officer. When somebody walks into the school, if they think they're going to go into our school system and cause harm to our children, I've got somebody there to say no, you're not. So proud to be able to do that, and thankful for the hard work of my legislators that I get to work with regularly, and for the governor for signing that bill. So kind of where that translates for us is we have to deal with cyber evidence, and that's kind of a relatively new thing. We seize a cell phone or a laptop or an iPad. It seems like almost every investigation we work right now. And most people, they think of digital evidence as dealing with white collar crime or some sort of sexual exploitation. And that's not necessarily the case. There's digital evidence. People have a cell phone in their pocket everywhere they go. They have some kind of device or cameras built in, and those capture a lot of evidence that are helpful to our cases. And so a good example of that was we had a marijuana grow that was an indoor grow My officers, along with officers from other agencies, worked this case, and you know, it looked like a pretty cut and dry drug case. There was a computer in one of those grow houses. And so what we did was we seized that, thinking that there would be evidence of either drug trafficking or maybe the way that he was growing his marijuana. And in searching that computer, we found evidence of child pornography. And you know, there was images, thousands of images, and then also some that this perpetrator had made on his own at his own home. And so it turned into a completely different type of case that we never would have been able to deal with if we hadn't had a little bit of training and a whole lot of help on how to deal with this digital evidence. What we've decided to do, because that's a little bit above what we were trained out of the academy, we decided to enlist a little bit of help, and that was with Millstone Labs. And because of our relationship with that company, we've been able to take an officer, get him trained on how to using digital forensic equipment and how to get the evidence off of these devices. That way they're not able to be tainted with, they're not able to be messed with, they're perfectly fine for court use, and it's efficient for us. It used to be that if you wanted some kind of computer or a phone examined forensically, you'd have to send it off to a lab. There would be months and months, sometimes years worth of wait time to get that evidence back. And now we can do it in just a matter of hours. And so knowing that we can be so much more efficient with that, it makes us more efficient in everything else that we do. And so it's just been such a help to our community, such a help to our residents, because we can better serve them. And our goal at the end of the day is to provide the safest community that we can provide for what I think are the best people in the world. And because of that, and our relationship with Millstone, and the way that they were able to train us and the additional support that they can provide for us, it just makes us so much better at what we do, and it benefits our community that much more.